There is a moment every trader knows. The position is open. The market has moved against you. Not a little, but enough to make your chest tight. The logical side of your brain is still there, somewhere, reciting the plan you made before you entered. But underneath it, something older and louder has taken over. Your hand is on the mouse. Your breathing has changed. And in that moment, every principle you believed in feels like theory. Thin, academic, and completely useless against the weight of what is actually happening to your money right now in real time. That moment is where traders are made or destroyed. Not by what the market does next, but by what you do in the next 10 seconds. I spent my entire life studying that moment, learning it, surviving it. And I am here to tell you that surviving it has nothing to do with being fearless. It has everything to do with being prepared for it long before it arrives. Before we go any further, I want you to do something. Go down to the video description below and check out our new ebook, Thinking Like Jesse Livermore, Mastering the Market with Discipline, Patience, and Risk. Everything I'm going to tell you today is expanded in that book with detail, with examples, with the kind of depth that a single video cannot carry. The link is waiting for you in the description, but for now, stay with me. Because what I'm about to share with you is not strategy. It is not a trading system. It is something rarer and more valuable than both. It is the psychology of endurance. I've watched men walk into the market full of fire and certainty, and I've watched those same men crumble in silence. Not because they lacked intelligence, not because they lacked capital. They crumbled because they were not prepared for what the market actually is. The market is not a machine that rewards the clever. It is a mirror, cold, unblinking, and merciless, and it reflects back to you every fear you have never faced, every discipline you have never built, every weakness you have tried to hide. And if you are not ready to look honestly into that mirror, it will destroy you. I have seen it destroy brilliant men. I nearly let it destroy me more than once. Now, I want to remind you, if you haven't already, to go and watch our previous video on this channel, How to Trade Calmly When Real Money is on the Line. That video lays the groundwork for this conversation. In it, we talked about the specific pressure that comes when your real money, not paper money, is sitting in the market and moving by the second. If you haven't seen it, pause this video, watch that one first, and then come back here. The two videos together form a complete picture of what calm trading actually looks like in practice and in principle. Now, let's talk about what calm really is. Most people believe that calm is the absence of emotion. They think that to be calm in the market you must feel nothing, that the ideal trader is a man of ice, detached and robotic. That is wrong. That is dangerously wrong. I have never been a man without emotion. When I was short the market in 1929, watching billions evaporate from the accounts of the wealthiest men in America, I felt something enormous inside of me. A weight, a sobriety. Because I knew what I was witnessing, I was not without feeling. But my feelings did not drive my hands. My hands were driven by something I had built through years of painful, costly, humbling experience. And that was a process, a discipline, a mental structure that held steady when everything around it was collapsing. Calm, in the market, is not the absence of emotion. Calm is the ability to observe your emotion without becoming it. That distinction will save your account, and one day, it may save your life. The first thing I learned, and I learned it the hard way in bucket shops as a teenager, losing and rebuilding and losing again, is that the market does not care about you. This sounds harsh. It is meant to. The market does not know your name. It does not know how much you need that money, how many months you work to save it, how many people are depending on you. The market is utterly indifferent to your story, and the moment you begin to trade as though the market owes you something, as though your suffering entitles you to a winner, you have already lost. You are trading emotion. You are not trading price. There is a kind of trader who, after a loss, becomes furious. He doubles down. He changes his plan mid-trade. He convinces himself that the market moved against him out of some personal conspiracy. And then he throws good money after bad, trying to prove a point to something that cannot hear him. I have been that man many times. And every time I was that man, I paid for it. Dearly. The market does not respond to your frustration. It does not reward your desperation. It does not punish your enemies. It simply moves, driven by forces larger than any single man's will, shaped by the collective psychology of thousands of participants, each one carrying their own fear, their own greed, their own story. When you understand this, truly understand it, not just intellectually but in your bones, something shifts inside you. You stop fighting the market. You stop arguing with it. You begin, for the first time, to read it. And reading it requires calm, not the calm of someone who doesn't care about the outcome, because you must care deeply in order to have the discipline to execute well, but the calm of someone who has separated their identity from any single trade. You are not your last trade. You are not your last loss. You are not your account balance on any given Tuesday afternoon. You are a trader, and a trader's identity is built across hundreds of decisions, across months and years of consistency, not across any single moment of triumph or humiliation. That is where calm begins, in the separation of self from outcome, in the decision, made deliberately and in advance, that you will not allow the market's chaos to become your chaos, that you will observe, that you will wait, that you will act only when the conditions are right, and when they are not, you will sit on your hands with the same confidence that another man would feel pulling the trigger. I know that sounds easier than it is, believe me, I know. There were days when sitting on my hands felt like it was tearing me apart. When I could see a move setting up, when every instinct in my body was screaming at me to act, and the discipline I had built told me, not yet. The conditions are not right. Wait. And the hardest thing a trader ever does is nothing. Nothing is an active decision. Nothing takes more courage, more self-awareness, more psychological strength than action does. Because action gives you the illusion of control. Inaction demands that you sit with uncertainty, that you tolerate ambiguity, that you trust a process you cannot see the end of. I want you to think about the last time you broke your own rules in the market. Not because you didn't know the rules, you knew them, but you broke them anyway, because the emotion was stronger than the structure in that moment. Maybe you entered too early because you were afraid of missing the move. Maybe you held too long because you couldn't bear to take the loss and make it real. Maybe you traded a position that was too large because you needed to recover what you had lost the week before and the need was louder than the logic. I know every one of those moments. I lived them and I paid for each one. The pattern is always the same. The emotion surges, the discipline bends, the trade goes wrong, and then comes the worst part. Not the financial loss, but the loss of confidence. Because once you have broken your own rules, once you have proven to yourself that you will abandon your plan when the pressure is high enough, you no longer fully trust yourself. And a trader who does not trust himself is in a uniquely dangerous position, because now he second-guesses every entry. He second-guesses every exit. He holds trades he should close and closes trades he should hold, because somewhere deep inside him is the knowledge that his decision-making process is compromised, not by the market, but by his own history with himself. This is why calm is not just a pleasant quality to have. It is structural. It is foundational. Without calm, you cannot build consistent discipline. Without consistent discipline, you cannot build confidence. Without confidence, you cannot execute cleanly. And without clean execution, even the best reading of the market will not save you. You can be right about the direction and still lose money if your emotional state is chaotic when you place the trade. So how do you build it? How do you cultivate the kind of calm that holds up not in easy markets, but in the moments when your account is down, when you've had 3 losing trades in a row, when everyone around you seems to be making money and you feel like you've lost your edge? I'll tell you what worked for me, not as prescription but as principle, because every trader must find his own version of this. The first principle is preparation. Before I ever placed a trade, I knew my plan. Not a vague plan, an exact one. I knew where I was entering. I knew where I was wrong and would get out. I knew what size I would carry. I knew what I expected the market to do and what I would do if it did something different. And I had thought through these scenarios, not in the heat of the moment, but hours before, when I was away from the tape, when my mind was clear and my emotions were not engaged. Because the time to make your decisions is not when the market is moving. The time to make your decisions is when it is still. The plan you build in stillness is the plan that will hold you in the storm. The second principle is acceptance. I accepted before every trade that I could be wrong. This sounds simple. It is not. The ego does not want to be wrong. The ego wants to be validated. It wants every trade to confirm that you are smart, that your reading was correct, that the market has finally recognized your intelligence. But the market is not in the business of validating your ego. When I accepted, fully without resistance, that any given trade might be a loss, something miraculous happened. The fear of being wrong lost its power over me, because I had already made peace with the possibility. The loss, if it came, was not a verdict on my character. It was simply information, and information, no matter how uncomfortable, can be used. The third principle is what I called reading the tape with patience. I never rushed. The market will always give you another opportunity. The train that left the station 5 minutes ago is not the last train. There will be another. The traders who get hurt, consistently and badly, are the traders who are so afraid of missing the move that they jump on trades that haven't confirmed, that haven't set up cleanly, that are halfway through a move instead of at the beginning. They pay for their impatience with losses that compound over time into something devastating. Patience is not passive. Patience is a skill, and it is one of the most profitable skills in the market, though it never shows up directly on a profit and loss statement. Now, I want to pause here and ask you something. If you've been watching this channel, and I hope you have, are you taking notes? Are you going back and watching our previous videos? Because this conversation we're having right now about calm and preparation and psychological discipline, it doesn't exist in isolation. It builds on everything we've talked about before, including in our video, How to Trade Calmly When Real Money is on the Line. These ideas compound just like good trades do. And if you want to go deeper, far deeper, into how I thought, how I operated, how I survived and rebuilt and came back again and again, the ebook is there for you. Thinking like Jesse Livermore, Mastering the Market with Discipline, Patience, and Risk. The link is in the description. Go get it. Read it slowly. It will change how you see this business. And while you're down there in the description, leave a comment. Tell me, what is the hardest part of staying calm for you? Is it the losses? Is it the waiting? Is it the noise from other traders who seem to be doing better? I read everything. Your comment helps this channel grow, and it tells me what to make next. So don't be silent. Let me hear from you. Let me tell you about a specific kind of fear, one that I believe is the most dangerous emotional state a trader can enter. More dangerous than greed, more insidious than overconfidence. It is the fear that arrives after a run of losses. Not the fear of the next loss exactly, but a deeper fear. The fear that you have lost the ability to read the market at all, that everything you knew is gone, that you are finished. I have been in that place. After the cotton market broke me in the early years. After the times I borrowed money I shouldn't have borrowed and held positions I should have released. There were periods when I sat at my desk and looked at the tape and felt nothing but noise. The clarity I had known was gone, replaced by a kind of paralysis that no strategy could cure. And I want to talk about that place honestly, because I think many of you watching this right now know exactly what I'm describing. You may be in it. Here is what I learned about that state. You cannot trade your way out of it. The instinct, when you are in that hole of confusion and self-doubt, is to trade more, to force a winner, to find the trade that restores your confidence, to manufacture the evidence that you still have what it takes. This is precisely the wrong response. I know, because I tried it, many times, and every time the forced trade made things worse, not always immediately. Sometimes the forced trade wins, and that is the most dangerous outcome, because it teaches you that the solution to psychological disorientation is to push through it with aggression, and that lesson will eventually cost you everything. The real solution, and I discovered this reluctantly because it required a kind of humility I did not naturally possess, is to stop, to step away from the market completely, to close your positions, hold your cash, and go somewhere quiet, for days, sometimes for weeks, not to study charts, not to read the news, but to rest your mind, to let the noise settle, to come back to yourself, to the trader you were before the bad run, to the principles you know are sound even when the results have not been. The market will be there when you return. The opportunities will not have dried up. The great moves happen over and over again, in every era, in every instrument, in every market condition. You do not need to catch everyone. You need to be in the right state to catch the ones that matter, and you cannot be in the right state if you are exhausted, frightened, and trying to prove something. This is one of the most important things I can tell you. Rest is not a sign of weakness. Stepping back is not retreating. It is one of the most sophisticated and disciplined moves a trader can make. To recognize when your judgment is compromised and to protect your capital by doing nothing until your clarity returns. The traders who cannot do this, who must always be in the market, who define themselves entirely by their trades, are the ones who eventually burn through everything they have. I have watched it happen. I have lived versions of it myself. Now I want to come back to something that connects all of this together, the thread that runs through preparation, acceptance, patience, and recovery. That thread is self-knowledge. The greatest edge you can have in this market is not a secret system. It is not insider information. It is not a faster connection to the exchange. It is a deep, honest, unsentimental understanding of your own psychology, of your specific weaknesses, of the exact emotional triggers that cause you to abandon your plan, of the patterns of thought that arise when you are afraid, when you are greedy, when you are desperate. Because only when you know your enemy, and your own mind is your enemy more often than the market is, can you build the defenses that will hold. Keep a trading journal, not just of your trades, but of your thoughts before and during and after. Write down what you were feeling when you made the decision. Write down what fear you were running from, what desire you were chasing. Over time, patterns will emerge. You will begin to see that you always make the same mistakes under the same conditions. And once you see the pattern clearly, you have a choice. You can catch yourself in that state and choose differently. You can build a rule that prevents you from acting when you are in that particular emotional weather. You can begin for the first time to manage not just your trades, but yourself. That is the work. It is unglamorous. It is private. It does not make for impressive stories at dinner. But it is the work that separates the traders who last from the traders who don't. I have given you a great deal today, and I want to be honest with you about something. This is the work of a lifetime. You will not master this in a week. You will not build unshakable calm in a month. You will fail at this and succeed at it and fail again, and each time you will learn something you could not have learned any other way. That is the nature of this pursuit. It asks everything of you, your patience, your honesty, your willingness to be wrong and to begin again. But I promise you this, the trader who commits to this inner work, who takes the psychological discipline as seriously as the technical analysis, who builds calm not just as a strategy, but as a character, that trader becomes formidable. Not because the market becomes easier, it doesn't, but because he becomes stronger, clearer, more capable of seeing what is real and responding to it without the distortion of fear or the seduction of greed. You have what it takes. The fact that you are here, watching this, thinking seriously about how to improve, that tells me something about you. Don't stop. Go deeper. Watch our other videos on this channel. Go back and watch How to Trade Calmly. When real money is on the line, if you haven't yet, it will add another layer of understanding to everything we've covered today. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Tell this community what resonates with you, what challenges you, what you're working on. We grow together here. And before you go, the link in the description is waiting for you. Thinking like Jesse Livermore. Mastering the market with discipline, patience, and risk. Get the ebook. Carry it with you. Let it be the companion that speaks to you on the hard days when the market is moving and your hands want to do something reckless and everything inside you is screaming. Let it remind you of what you already know but sometimes forget under pressure. That calm is your greatest asset, that discipline is your true edge, and that the trader who can stay grounded when the world is falling apart will always find his way through. The market will test you. It has always tested those who dare to engage it seriously. But you are not here to be broken by it. You are here to learn its language, to respect its power, and to become, one decision at a time, one disciplined day at a time, the trader you are capable of being. Stay calm, stay patient, stay in the game. I'll see you in the next one.